Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 960 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined by the usual crew, the Thursday crew of James Dean Rader, Ben Funky Askren.
Well, we're missing one of the normal Thursdayers.
Yeah, he ain't here.
Is he not a normaler anymore?
He likes football. You know he don't want to talk no football. Freestyle. Shane Sparks is in freestyle land, or in football land. That's what he likes more than us. That's the only thing I can think of. No, he's on a plane. I'm sure he would rather be here. Probably not. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know the answer to that question, truthfully. But we have so much to get to because from the time we last did this show to now, here's what's happened. Sadulayev lost.
A lot of it.
And quit. And then Snyder got bronze. Dake Sidakov happened. Team USA officially won the world title. So plenty.
Come on, dog.
What's up?
Come on, dog.
What does that mean?
You don't know what I'm referencing? I'm referencing when I suggested last week that the United States had the ability to win a world title, and you come on dogged me.
Come on, dog. Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah.
I accurately predicted the number of champions, weights qualified, and medalists.
No, that was copied. You copied me. I put my number out
there
first. So
what is it?
We can go after this show.
Wait, hold on. You have to pick one. Which is true?
Well,
was I mean, accurate?
Both of them can be true. Both of them can be true.
No.
I did pick that first. You also picked that. But for some reason, you thought those numbers were not going to be able to equal a championship.
Right.
So both are correct.
No. Well, I accurately predicted USA's performance. I did not expect Russia to have, let's say, historically bad. It was a historically horrible performance by Russia, the likes of which we haven't seen this side of 16, maybe. They had a bad performance in 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a few not good performances, maybe.
What are you talking about?
17 or 18.
Bro,
it was when they probably actually got clean for a little bit because of what happened in 16. I don't remember if it was 17 or 18, but there was definitely like a drop-off-ish.
We beat them in 17 by one match, and
Kyle Snyder.
They had a good team that year too. But nothing this bad. This bad. So I thought we would be closer I thought Iran would be a little bit closer, but they weren't. So I think the world did not show up as prepared as we were, or as strong as we were, for sure. And maybe, we could get into what is going on with Russia because you could say, hey, we're just way better, but our performance is not way better than we've ever done. 3 champs and 7 medals is on par with the golden era that we've been experiencing, right? But but what we saw with Russia is not as good, right? You could blame a number of things.
So
they have a new coach.
2017, there was not 79 kilograms and not 92. They had, I believe, 5 out of 8 medals.
Yeah.
So kind of similar to the current performance. Yeah, I mean that's an interesting topic and it is all speculation on our part. I think one of the unique things is that the Russian transfers actually beat the Russians this time, which that's pretty rare. Historically, that's pretty rare for the person who transferred to beat the current team member. It happened in 3 different weight classes this year, and that tells me. I think they're all still trained together, at least for a portion of the time, like in Dagestan or Makhachkala or wherever it is. Mm-hmm. They're all still training there. So maybe some disorganization by the Russian Federation on training camps or something like that, where they were just a little off. Or my other speculation is that they're off of the special vitamins.
All fair theories. The disruption that the war could be causing, just to overall training, because obviously Russia is tapping that region of the country for soldiers and whatnot. So who knows the impact there? There are reasons in it, and candidly, it doesn't take much a little disruption, a percentage point or two, the margins are so thin at this level that if you're normally at a 9 and you're at an 8, that's enough to see the kind of performance we saw from Russia. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's a little thing can make wrestling's weird. The matches are short. It's a very small window of opportunity. It's not a season. It's a day. And if everything comes down to a day, a match, a position, it doesn't take but being a little bit off to have a down performance that looks significant, like a significant drop-off.
You want to hear another theory I got? I got theories.
Oh, there's more theories.
There's more theories, yes. I think, what about this? I actually posed this to, who was I sitting by? Oh, I was sitting by Captain Eric Alvarezson and Angel Cejudo at the Cadet 17U Worlds. And one of the things I posed to them was, well, if such a high percentage of Russia's wrestlers, their athletes, are from a very specific region, which is true, right? Ossetia, Dagestan, that like small pocket. And now a decent portion of their athletic male population is going into fighting, because there's actually kind of a lot of them dudes are fighting. And with what Khabib did and how much more money they're probably making doing that, or possibly doing that, you know, like you said, the margins are thin. If they pull a handful of their best athletes, right, who would have been their best wrestlers, off and they're fighting, how much will that negatively affect them?
100%. I had not thought about that. That is a really, really great theory. I bet there's certainly something to it. And I'd be curious, because just off the top of my head, like, is it hurting their upper weights? So like, you know, because most of the weights are, you know, upper in MMA. Are we seeing fewer? Like, could explain their lack of 86. They haven't had an 86 on the level for a while since Sadulayev. Could be something to that. That's a really interesting.
I would assume that pocket that we're talking about of Russia, I mean, it's what, 10, 15, 20 million. It's probably not much more than that, because it is kind of like a relatively small region. So, you know, you pair that with some of them maybe going to fight MMA, which there are a lot of those guys fighting, whether it's the PFL, some of them are in one championship, some of them are in Bellator, some are in the UFC. They're kind of like, there's kind of a lot of them. And then also, I think the transfer situation, and obviously I know it's going to come up with us in a second, it's hurting them, because if you're not keeping everyone at home, you don't know who's going to develop, and you don't know who's going to have better performance. And sometimes it's stylistic, which we could talk about with Chance and JB also. Another interesting topic to talk about. But if you're losing a lot of really good guys, that's going to hurt you, right? Whether it's an injury, whether someone develops, whether someone gets old faster, those things all happen. So if you're losing people, that's going to negatively affect you.
Yeah, absolutely. It negatively affects us. It negatively affects USA Wrestling for sure. When you lose your talent pool. So even by a small percentage, it can have an impact. So I think often the answer is just like a combination. Certainly there are wrestlers who are just transitioning to full-time MMA. Certainly the war is a disruption. There's possible they have a new coach. Maybe they're disjointed. So all this coalesces to USA, which is more organized.
Probably draws from a more vast population, right, versus like a smaller region that they're doing.
Maybe
same guys though.
Well, you could say, I don't know, this is too demographically oriented, but like same overall population. Yeah, there's more people in America, but how many people wrestle in America versus wrestle in that part?
Yeah, I would actually say a lot more, but then I would just say there's if you look at, say, the Fargo champs or the national rankings, you're gonna not have people only from like a singular region. And obviously, regions which are better, say like the Lehigh Valley of Pennsylvania has generally had a lot of really good wrestlers, but you're gonna find some from Arizona and California and Washington, and all over the place.
Minnesota
there, hey,
for sure. Okay, let's get a little tighter. Let's talk a little bit about some of what actually happened on the mat, particularly Sidakov over Dake. I felt watching that match that Sidakov played a lot of the positions brilliantly. I was probably as surprised as anyone when Dake got put on the clock again, and Sidakov immediately fired in. I was like, whoa, this guy is just like, has a great game plan, and he really went into Dake's kitchen and cooked. He went in there and went in there.
Okay, let me ask you a question on that, because I was thinking about it. Is what isn't Dake's kitchen? Because like pretty much any attack, and I posed this question to Keegan O'Toole a year ago. I said, well, how are you gonna beat Kyle Dake in 2024? Because you better start thinking about it. You better start figuring it out. And Dake is just so good everywhere. I think he's harder to score head inside than head outside. I mean, look what he did to Jason Nolfit, the final lesson when he like squished him from the head inside position.
You think he's harder? Wait, you think he's hard? You think he's harder to score on head inside?
Yeah. Remember what he did? Yeah.
I think
so. He's kind of hard everywhere.
Yep. So he shot that head outside.
That was a Shane Sparks comment.
Pause.
Cut that out. That was.
This is what's happening.
All right, but yes, I think he's difficult to score on no matter where it is. And one of the things I say is, I thought his baseline defense was way worse this tournament than any tournament previously. There have never been this many people getting into Kyle Dake's legs.
Yes. Well, I think maybe that's what I mean.
Okay.
But certainly getting. Yeah, he was fearless to go underneath there, and I think that was a big part of it. And ultimately, if you really boil it down, and maybe this is like a vast oversimplification, is like both guys were effective when they got to legs. Sidakov got there more. So a combination, and this is exactly what I'm talking about with the margins, right? One position, one little thing, and Dake wins this match. It is not some significant defeat, right? You don't agree?
Well, the one thing is, I feel like the one scramble where they went, they went 2, 2, and 1 for Sidakov, and they went 2 and 2 for Dake. I don't know how they got 2 and 2 for Dake in that one. Yeah. That one was, I watched it 5 times, and I said, I don't even know where the second 2's coming from. I have no idea where they pulled another 2 out. So, with that one, if that one goes the other way, the final score is 10-5, that's kind of significant.
Yeah. Well,
what do you think about that exchange? Do you think it was two 2-point turns for Kyle Dake?
I thought they got it right initially, and then I thought the replay messed it up, which probably says I don't know what I'm talking about with that. But
I disagree. I watched that sucker a couple times, and I'm like, where are they finding the second 2 for Kyle Dake? And I don't really know.
I mean, I could say where I think they did, but not that I necessarily agree. But
yeah,
for
can we
sure,
watch it here or no? Can we watch it on the show?
Yeah, we can. I think Tyler has it.
Okay.
Pulled
that
up.
Sequence queued up. I mean, it'll be awesome for us to just be able to talk through it, because I'll show you what I see.
Okay, let's go.
And then
here it is.
So what we got? Let's go, Tyler. I can't see it on my screen.
Oh,
here we go. Okay, got it. Let's go.
So if you're watching at home, Dake and Sidakov are wrestling, and Sidakov's about to get into his leg outside step.
Right here. All right, so
nothing yet.
Outside step, and so right here they call 2 red, and like there's no way that could be 2 blue. If we watch it, he doesn't even, and then there's 2 red again, and now this boom is where they go 2 blue. So where they got another blue from, I'm not really certain.
Let's go back. And can we just, like, if I say freeze, can we just talk about the
because that one, that first headstand, Sidakov doesn't really come all that close to head exposing.
So I thought maybe he did though. Right here, I thought freeze.
No way. There's
no way. Okay.
They had another angle of that. They had another angle, and you could tell it wasn't very close.
Okay. It looks closer there. Would you agree?
A little bit, but yeah, the other angle. I mean, you think about if he gets vertical there, he's most likely going to flop over. So, in order to even break 90, you'd have to get straight vertical.
Well,
and
if you're asking where the 2 came from, I think it could be there.
Well, that's not even close. They had another angle. They had another angle on that one. And it was. Not very close,
I know you don't agree, but I'm telling you,
okay.
So,
all right, sure.
So this initial exchange, maybe they go 2 and 2. 2 red, 2 blue.
Guys, is not very close. I wish we had the other angle because.
And then this is for sure. This one here, you can't convince me is Dake's because he hooks the elbow.
No, he hooks the wrist.
Hops over.
2 there.
But right here, that's 2
there's
blue.
2 Dake. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's the 2 blue.
2 blue, yeah. So and then 1 red for Sidakov on the reversal. So I think they went 2 and 2 for both of those exchanges.
On Arena, Flow Arena, it's 2 red, 2 blue, 2 red, 2 blue in that order.
That's exactly how I think.
Watch that. They actually show. Maybe they'll show it on here. Hold on. Let's just keep. We can keep letting this play. Yeah. They'll show it. I felt like it was that first one wasn't really all that close.
Right. I know that.
I don't know if they're showed again. Right there. So like there. That was a good angle right there. Sidakov clearly turns his body down as he's going up. He just turns down and falls to his knees. I don't know. I think it's kind of clear.
Yeah.
Now, I also thought, too, Sidakov, after he rolls over and hooks the elbow, he breaks 90, comes out of 90, and then Kyle rolls him through by a couple degrees.
But they would have said a non-defendable position because, you got to get kind of back to flat before you get another 2. So they would have said non-defendable on that one. So it has so you are right, Christian. I guess limiting the other options, it kind of has to be that first one.
Yes.
And that's not 2.
That's what I think they did. So that was a key exchange, and it kept the match really, really close. And then, you say 10 points, Ben, but like the last 2 for Zalbeck.
Yeah, that's him forcing it. Mm-hmm.
He's forcing it. And honestly, if they don't challenge, it's 8-7 final. If Dake doesn't challenge. So. The match lived up to it. Sidakov really, the guy is, it's kind of like what we were maybe afraid of could happened a little bit. But if you're Kyle Dake, if you're a USA Wrestling fan, you're not thinking, oh man, we can't get this guy in Paris. For sure you can. But it's probably going to take a perfect match, which that's often what it requires. And Sidakov is he's a G for sure. Like this guy he has come in and beaten 2 of the most legendary wrestlers in USA Wrestling history. He's 3-0 against them, all in the margins. Right? It's a pretty incredible feather in his cap for sure. So there's that.
I would say. I mean, is it a foregone conclusion to you that Dake is the rep at 74? I feel like this performance kind of made him come back to earth. I think he's still the significant favorite, but do we say a Burroughs or a Chance or a Nolf is going to challenge him? I think probably not.
Chance is going up. Burroughs, I don't know. Man, I don't know. To me, my mind is Dake is still on this team in 2024. He's our rep for Paris.
It's not next topic, though, I don't think.
You can next topic it, but, man, he made... What the conversation comes down to, one, he only has to beat one of these people. One. So who's going to emerge is the question.
2 matches.
He's got to beat him. He's got to beat him twice. He has to beat one person, though.
All right, you talked me back in.
Yeah. So he's got to beat one person 2 times. Now, he won't know who that person is until the day of, but still, he's going to have to beat one person twice. Who is that person going to be? Is Jordan Burroughs going to... Is Jordan going to cut down and be able to navigate a tournament? Because that's what he's going to have to do this time. I'm not sure. Is Jason Nolf as great? And here's the thing. Here's what makes me think it may be still. I'm not going to next topic any Olympic weight unless Gable enters. If we were, especially Ben, you were really thinking Nolf was coming. And that he had narrowed the gap, and he was not close at all. He is not close at all. He is not close at all. So
2022 was close. 2023 is not close.
Exactly, wrong direction. So
wrong direction. Correct.
One, you need someone. If you are gonna hypothesize, in my mind, if you're gonna hypothesize that Dake's not on this team, you are saying someone other than Jason Nolf gets to him. So you're saying Keegan really narrows the gap. Now, he was kind of coming at the end there. You're saying David Carr gets a lot better. You're saying Jordan Burroughs somehow makes his way 2 days in a row and is feeling really good for all these and navigates this tournament and gets it.
Yes.
I think it's all a really, really long shot when you boil it down, like the circumstances these guys have to go through. It's not, and I think the cut's a thing for Kyle, but he's going to be feeling as good as anyone that night. And he has to make it twice, but
he looked much better day 2 when he got to sit
Big
after
break.
weigh-ins versus day 1, in my opinion.
And this is where I will say, if you want to get into a process discussion, which drove me crazy this whole week long, talking about, I think it's ridiculous. But if you want to have one, I'll talk to you all day about our Olympic trials process. I don't like it at all. I don't like that you got to do the bracket and the best 2 out of 3 all in the same day. It's advantage enough that you get to sit out and you avoid the entire field but one person. But to have to weigh in twice, and also from a simulation perspective, you want the playing field to be even, but 2, a bracketed tournament simulates the Olympics. Well, it does for one of the competitors, but not the one that's just sitting out all day. So the scales are so drastically tipped. I don't mind the guys sitting out till Final X. That's advantage enough. But having it on the same day, and I don't understand why we rush. What is the hurry to get this tournament done with? Have a trials bracket and then have a final wrestle off that you can actually market and build up for a matter of weeks, instead of this, get it all done in one day so that we have our team set for months and months in advance. It's like, no, back it up, give it a little more time. One, getting it out, now I'm on another soapbox, but you give these NCAA guys like a Vito Rujao, a Dayton Fix, you get and I say NCAA guys, what I'm actually saying is your potential Olympians a little bit of time to, 1, descend in a lot of cases, or 2, just get a little more freestyle training. Don't you want your NCAA? These are your guys. These are guys that are going to be representing you in all likelihood, if not in Paris eventually. Don't you want them to be optimized? Don't you want their best shot? Because they could be your best option. Don't you want your best option? So get it off this April thing. Back it up. We have plenty of time.
It used to be mid-June.
Well, that's when look at Final X.
Yeah, and I get it. Like the Worlds are in September, but the Olympics are a month earlier. But we're setting our team so much earlier. And guys, it's not that important. Remember, this is not a real team. Okay, this is a bunch of individuals that you want them all at their best, and they're going to be training. And I get there's a thing, but like they're going to be back with their coaches who have got them to this level, and that is who's going to ultimately lead them to have success at the Olympic Games. It's those coaches. So you don't need to get them all together so they can like start practicing wrestling moves. No, I think the whole process doesn't make sense to me from a get the best team perspective. From I don't understand what we gain from having the team all together in April.
Yeah, I would. I don't even know what the argument is. I think when I made the team, it was June 19, so I think maybe that was a little close. So I think a little earlier than that. But yes, to your point with the NCAA guys, and to the NCAA guys, I would say anyone who really, really, really wants to make the team should probably consider Olympic red shirting. Like a Vito or a Dayton, or I don't know who else is really gonna be super, super close.
Now the last chance Olympic qualifier is in early mid-May. Mm-hmm. So you obviously want to send your best rep to that. If the weight is not qualified, that to play devil's advocate would be a reason. But the devil's advocate of that, JD, is there's the Pan Am qualifier is like only a month before, so some guys are going to not want to go to that. And this would go to the argument of like Seabass being on the team every time, or Micic is like not having to do other events, because if you're the best guy, you probably want to qualify the spot. But if you're the best guy, you're making weight again. Like I think it's 5 weeks ahead of time. Like that's kind of not ideal.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the timing is difficult. It's a lot simpler when you just qualify at Worlds or your Pan Ams. But now we're going to be in a waiting game to get these other weights qualified, 57 and 65. So and it was almost 97. But not really almost, because Tazhudinov just killed Sadulayev. I guess we can talk about that. But anyways, that was my Olympic trials thoughts. I think you should move it. I don't like that a guy has to do a bracket and then the 2 out of 3. Yeah. Sitting out's advantage enough. I think you're drastically tipping the scales too much.
I thought you were going to bring up the fact that a lot of people were whining about our wrong rep being there.
Well, I'm ready on that too, because I think that is just the most myopic. Okay, you weren't saying that beforehand. 1, 2. Yes. We just won. We are experiencing unprecedented levels of success, and you guys want to change how we pick our team? We just won back-to-back, and we beat Russia, and we beat them bad this year. We won in 2017. We are experiencing a level. It is the golden era. That was one of the FRL questions. Absolutely. We haven't seen it. We have not seen this level of success in international wrestling, period. And the idea of changing for one, that reason to change it alone is so silly. 2, the guys that didn't make the team had the scales so drastically tipped in their favor, and they still didn't make the team. They didn't have to wrestle all year long. They didn't, and in some cases they did. David basically didn't. He made the team, of course, but you don't have to. You could just roll up and be on the team. To me, that is the thing that is most concerning. And some people, want, hey, if you medaled or you won worlds, you should just be on the Olympic team. I think that is a horrible, horrible idea. Bad take. Makes no sense to me. You want incentives. You want guys. I want everyone trying to get better and improve throughout this time. If you're on the team, not that I'm questioning anyone's work ethic or intangibles or whatever. I'm sure if you were on the team, you'd be focused. But, man, you want those little checkpoints that you have to prove you're still on the level. But
there's also just something, even if Christian, even if you're going to say this leads to us to a worse performance, and not by a large margin, probably by a small margin, right? Even if you just say that, the process of having everyone be able to have an equal shot, or and semi-equal, because the guys who are world medalists, they do get a little bit of an advantage for sure, versus like you talk about other countries where they just either they pick who they want, right? Or you brought you just posted, I watched it, it was such cheap, where they got Lebedev over Musukaev through some cheap calls, or they just keep making him wrestle off. Do we really want that unfair of a process? Because to me, that's totally anti-American.
It's anti-American.
Well, that one was different too, because it was bought, but it wasn't Russia wants this guy on the team. It was
but it's just, I don't whose process is better, and I think it produces the right results. I think it's the right way to do it. Also, I think for the sport to grow too, it's like, you want to say from now till you want more Super Bowl type events. You want an Olympic trials that has gravity in this country. That should mean something. I think it's sad that Japan doesn't have a product to look forward to for most of their weights where they medaled, because they're automatically on the team. They don't have a real trials process. These Japanese women that won Olympic weights, they're on the team right now. That's done and set. So I don't think that's a good thing either. Just so there's the actual getting the best team. There's actually having a real sport. A real
sport.
If
we had a real sport, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I said this on Monday, Christian. If we had a real sport, we would get to see these guys compete more often. I was just thinking about how much fun. I was talking to both Mitchell and Keegan about how much fun it was to watch this Worlds. Like, there were so many good matches, and honestly, there's so many other matches that I would have loved to have seen that I did not get to see because they didn't meet up in the bracket for whatever reason, right? And if I got to watch a Musukaev or a Higuchi or some of these guys who are a lot of fun, Tazhudinov, if I got to watch them 5 times a year, I'd probably watch them 5 times a year, right?
Yeah.
But some of these dudes, they're literally wrestling. Like, I probably watch Musukaev every tournament he competes in.
Yeah.
But some of these other dudes are doing like 1 tournament or 2 tournaments.
Same. Yeah. It does suck, and it's, if you wonder why Division I wrestling is most popular, there's a lot of reasons for that. But that's a big part of one. The visibility and when they compete, and it's pulling teeth to getting these guys to wrestle, though. So that's I don't even know how we got there, but we did.
How we got there? We got there through trials process and fairness And then I just said, I would just love to watch these guys wrestle. Selfishly, I would love to see everyone compete more often. It's like, hey, they're wrestlers, but they don't really wrestle all that often. They wrestle 2 or 3 times a year. Whereas whether it's I'll pick any other sport. I mean, maybe besides fighting, and that's probably because of injuries, but golf, tennis, hockey, baseball, basketball, football. Who else competes as few times as elite level wrestlers?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I
Not
can't
a lot.
think of any. I don't watch enough sports, other sports, but all the sports I'm aware of don't have that.
Way more.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate. And yeah, I think if there's one area of the process to click into, it's Olympics. But those guys were given every advantage, and if they didn't make the team, that's just how it goes.
They probably shouldn't have made the team.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't have made the team. I don't like the myopia. I don't like the coulda, woulda, shoulda. I was Team Frank Molinaro. This was a huge thing in 2016. Everyone was freaking out about, oh, no Metcalf, no Stieber. Now we're sending Frank. Frank did better than any of those guys did at 65 kilograms or 66 worlds ever. And he was our best world's performance we'd had since 2006 and until Yanni got second last year. And it was the same thing. This guy hasn't done it, but he's got it now. He's doing it now. No, he hasn't before, but he just ran the gauntlet in the bracket. Yeah, so that drove me nuts then. It's always been something that's bothered me.
To once again play devil's advocate, which I agree with you, but...
Then don't play it. You're just emboldening bad takes.
Show other data.
Embolden the haters.
Jordan Burroughs has gone and medaled at 79 kilos. He didn't win this year.
He's
he
medaled.
Had some words
he's medaled every time he's made the team. That's when he's medaled. He's medaled when he made the team.
He didn't.
He made.
Not every time. 2016.
Yeah, good point.
He got us.
Yeah, Damn, maybe we sent the wrong guy then. Probably not, though. Probably sent the right guy. It's like, oh yeah, you can say you sent the wrong guy after the freaking tournament happens. Okay, yeah. That's a great timing for people to bring that up. And I know what you're talking about with Jordan's Instagram post. That does not seem like a Jordan Burroughs kind of take to me. A
little bit salty.
It was salty. It was. I don't know if it's bitter is the word. It surprised me.
A little bit.
It really. We should read it.
Man, you know and this will fit right in this topic perfectly, Christian.
But we should first read. Hold on. But we should.
Okay. Read the tweet.
So Jordan had to post. It was right after Chance got eliminated, but it was like, I'm the only one that gets the job done. I don't know another person that could cover for me. It's in quotes, so I don't know if it's from
a Drake quote.
Drake. It's a Drake song. Yeah, I didn't like that. And his social media is always tight and inspirational and accountable. And man, I feel like he's won fair and square a lot. And it's like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Wait. So what I was gonna say is, and this would speak to, I mean, not Micic exactly because he beat everybody who was everybody, but there's a decent portion of this. I think when you reach a certain level of wrestler, and it has to be very high, of course, when you cross the threshold, a decent portion of it is like where you get dropped in the bracket. Are you hot that weekend, right? Mm-hmm. Do you get the right opponent? Maybe one opponent's better than a different one, but stylistically you match up really well, right? And so, I feel like if these guys have a whole bunch of shots at Worlds, the chances of medaling, I mean, this should be obvious, right? They go up. It's not like you're not going to medal. And so, if we got to throw 3 reps at every weight, certain guys who get medals when other guys don't, and it just had to do with, were they hot that weekend? Were they all the way healthy? Mm-hmm. Did they get put in the bracket in the right spot? Well, how were the matchups? Is this guy stylistically really good for that guy? That type of thing. I think that would happen a decent amount.
Yeah. Anyways, am I the only one talking about the Jordan thing?
No, I
don't. You want to keep talking about it? I don't.
No. It was very surprising to me too.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, probably not a great post. And I mean, I thought when you guys posted in the doc, I said, but it's such an easy comeback. Chance should have just said, like you did at the World Trials this year, ? And then left it at that. Yeah. Like, it's kind of a bad post because it opens yourself up to a comeback, easy comeback.
Also, that final X Series was very controversial. Jordan might actually think that he did win, or feel like he did win.
Controversial the other way. Also, because, I mean, there's people who argue Chance won 3 in a row.
True.
Yeah, so and then I think you take another I don't know what the thought is. But I remember when David had the Jaden thing after Jaden lost to Musukaev, it was a whole thing. It's like these guys are just.
Oh yeah, I remember.
But it's
that.
like, I remember like while I didn't think like, oh, this is a great classy move by David, and so what I'll say for Jordan and David is like, man, this is their guy, this is their lives. These are intense competitors, and sometimes a little bit of the, I don't know, it's not just ego, but pride. It can bleed into social media, and it doesn't always come off the best. But these are just like the most competitive, and this is their identity in so many ways. Like, this is their profession, and with social media, it's just a little bit easier for something to leak out that maybe is not the best. Whereas like 10 years ago, you probably don't see it. 15 years ago, you don't, and it's like that's why. You look at the entire canon of Jordan Burroughs and David Taylor's social media and their personalities and who they are, and it's like, okay, that one got out that is maybe not perfect, not so tight, and it's like, a little grace. Obviously, I've had my share as well. Like, I'm nobody. So I think it can happen, and I think that's what happened here, and no big deal.
I agree.
Okay. Next up, what do we want to talk about? Musukaev. Good gracious.
Musukaev, he's fire.
I mean, this guy. And listen, I won't even get into this part, but he did what we said all he had to do, and we really just boiled it down. Just a basic level of 5th grade fitness. Get national. You don't have to be presidential.
Fitness.
You don't have to get presidential physical fitness award. If you get national, you could win it all. And he just got to that national level, right? He ran a mile in 8 minutes and 32 seconds at 11 years old, right? That was enough. That's all he needed to be able to do what he just did. And he ran a gauntlet. He went through the freaking Olympic champion Odaguru. He went through the reigning champ Amazad. And he beat Sebastian, significantly. This guy is a next level from an athletic perspective. There's very few I've seen that can do the things he does on the mat. Like, I
would agree.
It's why we've been talking about him since, I feel like 2019 is when he got super hot, and maybe it's JD Rader's doing. Did JD Rader launch a career? It's possible.
It was nice to see my 2019 thread of Musukaev moments get a little love once again on Twitter.
That's when we were like, this guy is just so electric. He's faking injuries. You have to watch him wrestle, not just because he's so brilliant, but because he's such a disaster. Now it's just more brilliance.
No antics.
He didn't even try to fake an injury.
There was a couple times, like in the, was it Amazon or was it the other one, where he was so slow back to center. He is like, and somehow he makes you feel not that bad about it. He like sits there and he makes some faces and he points at something, and then he'll wander back.
Yeah. I think. But he makes his way back. He wasn't trying. There's no shenanigans. But yeah,
well, no shenanigans for him. If this was someone else, you'd be saying, "What's he doing over there?" But because we expect worse out of him, it's very acceptable.
I didn't notice anything.
I did not notice this, Ben. I'm not being.
Was it Hamazad or was it Mamedov? Is that the other guy? That's the other guy, right?
Yeah,
that's the Russian.
Shamil.
Let's see which. I'm blanking on which match it was. It was one of those two. They were both very, very competitive all the way down there. I think it was the Mamedov match where a few times he was like kind of sitting there pointing at something, and it takes like, I mean, like I said, for him it's not bad.
Maybe
but
there
if it
was
someone else, you'd be like,
Ben.
why is he taking so long?
Yeah, maybe he was worried about someone's safety. You don't know. There could have been something dangerous happening. He was pointing out, hey, there's a child that's wandering. It's gonna stick his finger in an electrical socket. You don't know.
I'm gonna go find it now for you guys.
I actually just don't recall. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but
yep.
It was.
I'm gonna bring it up, and it'll be funny. Yeah, I mean, this Mamedov match, he was actually losing and had to come back.
Yeah, It was crazy. It was either the Amazad or the Mamedov match where he was trailing going into the second and kind of waited till the second period to spring his trap.
I found it here. So it's at 145 in the Mamedov match. He's going to get a 1-point push out, and he's going to really sit here. And this is exactly where I'm at. He's like, why don't I get 2? And it doesn't look that bad actually, because Mamedov also kind of sits there for a minute. But he's sitting here arguing, talking to his coach, and he talks to the referee. Then he trips, and he looks back at it, and he's like, okay. And for him, it's not bad. If this was someone else, you'd be like, why is he taking so long?
All right, I want to watch it now. I really want to find it. It was against Mamedov.
Oh, and he's doing it again. No, he does it again, and then he does it again. And you'll see Mamedov is waiting. Again, if this is him, it's not so bad. But if it's someone else, you're like, what? He's just sitting there hanging out looking at the referee.
What a legend.
Well, you find
125 left also.
We
got another push out.
We got a question from Ben Swalla. Who would win in a hypothetical matchup? Jules Bonnet or Usman Musukaev?
Musukaev.
Oh, Musukaev's got size. Definitely.
Yeah.
Him.
Bonnet was a 57, probably at his peak.
He won
at 61. But I'm saying Olympic.
Yeah.
Musukaev was a 57 once upon a time, too.
Yes, he was. Back when he was robbed. How much time was left in what?
It's 145 and 125 in the second period is when the two that I'm watching happen.
Okay.
And again, it's nothing insane for Musukaev, but if it was someone else, you'd be like, dude, get back to center already.
Yeah. I think it is
oh my
a
God,
timely
he's so tired right now. I'm watching this match again. He is so gassed, and he's still going to find a way to win. He's so freaking quick to the re-attack angles. Oh, he just took him down. It's like 50 left in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the evolution of the re-attack game has been pretty wild to watch also. Everyone's going ankle now as opposed to hamstring because everyone's got so good at defending hamstring.
See, listen to me, but ankle always made more sense to me. Is it just harder to get to, or what? Why would you say?
Well, yeah, it's farther away, but no, I mean no, it's harder to finish on an ankle, but if the other one's not available, then it makes more sense to go to the ankle. But again, the earlier days of the down block go behind stuff, hamstring made way more sense because people would open their chest up, and then you had access to either the double or the high crotch. And now people are knowing that, hey, you're grabbing my hamstring and pulling me down because you want to go to this, and I'm not going to let you go to that, so I'm not going to open up that gap.
Yeah. Well, I think he goes hip on this go behind here. Fake world champion.
He goes ankle first.
Oh, does he? He's so fast. Yeah. I'm trying to watch.
Yep. So he went ankle first and then hip.
Oh yeah, he did. Dang.
Mm-hmm. And the ankle would be because if Mamedov would have popped up, then he would have grabbed that ankle, but he didn't pop up, so then he circles to the waist.
Yep. Okay.
Musukaev, so much fun to watch.
Musukaev, Sebastian Rivera, was he? He was not a world finalist when we did this last show. I don't even know if he had wrestled.
Not.
No.
Man,
go ahead.
He was great. His comeback against
Tavanian.
Oh my gosh, I'm blanking who he came back. He was down Tavanian maybe, and he was down 9-4, I think.
Yes.
Damn, that was awesome.
Wow, my mind's blown right now.
Wait, what happened?
I was saying Tavanian multiple times. Then you go Tavanian. I said yes. And you're like, I think it was Tavanian. It was like you.
I didn't hear you.
Put it in your.
It was just in the zone.
Get it in your good ear.
I got cauliflower ear. It's a disease.
It's a disease. I hope it's not contagious. Okay, yeah. So he wrestled phenomenally. It was awesome to see, and honestly, it's a good thing for America because it's one less really good guy in the Pan Am bracket now. He's qualified for the Olympics. Sebastian Rivera is going to be an Olympian, right? Nice. And so here's the thing with everyone has heard my perspective for years on the transfer thing. And at the time, the trump card for everyone was, well, yeah, but it's not our best guys, or they're not beating our guys. Okay, well, now we're here. And now we have two guys that are Americans, born in America, train in America, American coaches, American partners, etc., that are going to the Olympics, Stevan and Sebastian Rivera. And I don't malign them for a second for doing it. But here's a counterpoint. And here's another thought. If you are the number one guy in America, the best, it is still smarter for you to transfer if you can.
It really 100%. Is. It's so much easier.
It is smarter. If you're Yanni, if you're one of these, if you're Gilman, transfer.
Yanni's Greek, plenty Greek.
And now the new portal is hitting 23andMe and finding some, okay, where's my ancestry and how can I get up? And maybe it's simpler than that in a lot of cases, right?
Probably is.
So,
because I don't think Tazhudinov is, I don't think he's part Bahrainian.
He's from Dagestan.
He's super from Dagestan. And so I think, and Miles Amin too, but Dylan said Miles Amin, but we're at least qualified that way. But in 2019, we were not qualified at 86 after Worlds, but San Marino was. So these are just facts. These are not opinions. These are things that have happened. And I believe it is a fact that you are smarter if it's all about just going and coming back with a medal. If you have no change in your training situation, really, then what do you lose by saying, okay, I'm representing Ireland, I'm representing Italy, I'm representing any one of these countries?
Yes.
What is the counter to it? The only one is it's not really wrestling related. It's like branding, and being the American rep is inherently, you're going to get more visibility generally. Now, I don't know if that's true for Stevan Micic, what he's getting for being the Serbian rep. It could be in some circumstances like he's the hero there, whereas we have a lot of heroes of wrestling in America, but he's like the guy. Yes. I think it's what it could get that way. I mean, I think we're only seeing the beginning of the transfer movement from guys out of
everywhere.
USA. Just so you're aware. And I'm not maligning, I'm not judging. I'm saying this is what's going to happen. It is smarter to leave USA Wrestling than to remain, unfortunately. If you boil it down to just, do you want to be on the team? For Worlds, it's a no-brainer of no-brainers. Olympics, there is a little more of a rigorous trials process or qualification process. But for Worlds, it's great. And yeah.
Especially if, Christian, and you said if you're the number one, which I don't disagree with at all, but especially if you're a little further down the ladder, dude, it's so much better. You get to go wrestle at Worlds every year, and in certain cases, the other country's paying you a stipend to train of some sort, maybe paying for your travel, potentially also. If you want to be a competitive athlete past your college career, it's kind of a really good idea.
Yeah.
The only counter, you mentioned exposure, but also the fulfillment of a dream that a lot of these guys have when you're...
That's true.
When you're 6 years old, 10 years old, whatever, generally speaking, even probably Stefan, Miles, these guys who do take great pride in their Serbian San Marino heritage, more so than insert ex-athlete who really has no association with them other than their maybe grandparents were immigrants or something like that, but they probably envision themselves winning the Olympics in an American singlet, carrying the American flag when they were 10 years old. Maybe not, I don't know, but that would be the counter to.
It's not a strong enough desire that they didn't
100%
leave it, because, Stevan Micic was a junior world bronze medalist in 2014. Like he was on the path. He was in the conversation. It wasn't like Stefan's never going to make a team, right? He literally made a junior world team. So I would say for sure, but that pool was not obviously very strong because those guys are really good. Miles Amin, look how he's really freaking good. So it's not. It does sort of irritate me when, man, these other countries, and not just they get the fruits of truly American wrestling's labor. There are American coaches in their corner. Like, what is San Marino contributing to wrestling? They're not involved in wrestling. They're beyond what Miles is doing, and he's elevated. Miles is bringing all the value to San Marino. San Marino's not bringing it to wrestling.
Unless they're paying him, well, then that'd be some value, right? Because we've talked about big ability of people to continue to wrestle full time is their ability to make a living doing it. So if And man, I say, Christian, we had this dream, like, let's get more than one American at the Worlds. I think we got 3 American teams. We got America, we got Puerto Rico, America South / New Jersey, and then we could go Mexico too. That's like America South also, and maybe like California. Like we can have 3 American teams. I don't see why not. Let's add freaking California. El Salvador. They're great. That's America South, Bitcoin country. Okay, let's add like Nicaragua. We got 50 athletes at Worlds. I think Flo needs to sponsor the Nicaraguan team.
Mexico 2024 will be RBY, Gomez,
yes,
Valencia.
It's awesome.
TBD.
Did you say that California was not a part of the? Because
no. I'm saying like, for example, Puerto Rico. Look at their teams. That's U17s, U20s. That's like Jersey, right?
Oh,
so there's apparently there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in Jersey because I see them wrestling for New Jersey, and I see them also wrestling for Puerto Rico. So now we got Anthony Valencia. He's from California. He's on the Mexican squad. So maybe we can start recruiting some Californians down there to Mexico. Mm-hmm. Then Nicaragua. I don't know where we're gonna get them from, but we can find some Nicaraguans, I think, somewhere. Sponsored by Flo.
Dare to dream.
We got 40 spots at Worlds.
You sponsor them. AWA can sponsor Nicaragua.
You want to hear one of my dumb ideas, Christian? My dumb idea, my friend Paul McBeth, this is both a dumb and great idea. My buddy Paul McBeth is a disc golfer, and he sets up these disc golf courses in underprivileged countries to get more people disc golfing, right? So I think at some point, when I get some more money, I set up AWAs in all these countries, right? So now we are going to help kids figure out they love wrestling. We're going to help kids in a lot of ways. And also, I'm going to send a bunch of coaches there, and then they're going to compete for, say, the Nicaraguan or El Salvadorian team. And that way we got a whole bunch of AWAs at Worlds every single year.
That's all gold.
Yeah, gold.
So it'll be – I'm just more curious to survey the changes in the international wrestling landscape as, country where you live and train. And maybe I just, as a child, had a different view of what the Olympics meant. But now
it's corrupt. We know it. These are not good people. Yeah, see, we don't like them.
So
I don't even think we should go. Forget the Olympics. Let's do our own Worlds. They're taking away our damn weight. Christian, they're only giving us six weight classes.
I know.
I don't like them very much.
Yeah. Well, we got not changing that. Honestly, it would be a scarier world if we didn't have the Olympics, because then I think the trickle-down effect of that is big at the university level, yes. At the USA Wrestling,
Yeah. Listen, you being all realistic. Let me dream a little bit over here. You're being all realistic.
What I
still
want?
Like them.
Yeah, I don't want to even say what I want.
Hey, we didn't even talk about 97. This Tazhudinov guy, he beats 2 goats in one day. He's got to be the Olympic champion or the most outstanding wrestler. For sure. You whoop Kyle Snyder, then you make Abdul Rashid Sajulayev quit, and then you just smash the guy in the world finals. You're the outstanding wrestler. I don't care what anyone else did.
What if I said Sajulayev was really hurt? Would you believe me?
I'd believe that he's a little bit hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he could have finished? Do you think he could have finished that match
prior to that?
Do you think he could have finished that match?
Oh, duh. Of course he could have finished that match.
I agree.
Honestly, if he just stays in a stance and circles around, Tazhudnikov's probably out of respect is just going to look at him and not do nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. He's not very respectful. He disrespected everyone in Serbia. He's ridiculous, and it's crazy. He's been sort of on the level to a degree, but not like this. He lost to Batsayev months ago, like this summer. Like it's not like he wasn't on it's ironic comparison. He's not on that Sajulayev type of trajectory where you're like coming in. This is this kid's world's debut, but he's absolutely good enough to win the world championships, which was 100% the narrative about Sajulayev in 2014.
Yeah.
It was not that with this guy. So,
yeah.
Maybe some people pat themselves on the back that they saw this coming, but no, you didn't.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where the 92 kg, I didn't know this guy also, but someone said he has lost a whole bunch of matches. But when you're that young, you're probably getting better at a very, very rapid rate. So 6 months or 9 months or a year can make a huge amount of difference.
I think that's what we're seeing with this guy.
Yes.
Man, it's crazy that we're going to go into... So here's my question. Olympic odds come out, is Sadulayev still your favorite?
No, not right now.
I'm taking him. I'm picking him to win.
Yep.
I'm picking him.
You give this dude another year, and he gets that much better. Come on.
Remember this day. Remember this episode.
Yes.
2024.
Okay, am I saying he can't win? No, I'm not saying that.
Am
I saying he's not the pick? He shouldn't be the favorite.
Who's your pick?
You guys are.
Who are you picking to win the Olympics in 2024?
Are we saying I'm picking this kid?
Okay.
Unless the Russian mafia says, "Bro, you better not win."
I'm not.
There's going to be some bad things to be happening. You win.
I got Taz.
Listen, that could happen.
I got Taz. I
got
Sadulayev. I just wanted to say Taz. I just wanted to say
Taz. They go to
Taz.
Taz's house and they say, "Taz, you're not going to win this."
They can't get to Bahrain.
Bro, he don't live in Bahrain.
Oh, he doesn't look Bahrainian.
They know exactly where he lives.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, a lot of the Russians take great pride in, like, those guys too.
Yeah, they seem to be. Yeah.
Like, I know I've seen interviews with them. Like, the coaches, like, Gitsalov did an interview after Worlds this year, and he was like, yeah, obviously we want these guys competing, but he's like, that guy goes to my school.
Yeah.
I train him. I like him. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, candidly, it was incredible seeing Stevan win Worlds. Like, I thought that was amazing. 100%. Amazing. I mean, Stevan's the nicest kid. So is Miles. They're great. Sebastian, we've loved watching him all through his career. It was thrilling. And I was happy about it. But it is eventually going to take a bite out of our talent pool more significantly. You could say it's.
I think we just call them all Americans, Christian, and we celebrate the success.
They are Americans. They're certainly American.
One person make a post, Christian. They said, "I love America's success at Worlds this year. 57 gold, 61 gold, 65 silver, 70 gold."
They're right. They're American. Listen, it is in every other way like an American wrestling victory.
Yes,
these guys came up in the system. It's like Franklin Gomez was a little different because like he was like actually from Puerto Rico and like trained, and there's like a little, but for sure even he was like he reached his highest level living and training in America. But like these guys, for sure, it is an American wrestling victory, no matter the country they're representing.
100%.
Okay, but yeah, Taz is ridiculous. He was from Sadulayev school. That picture of them as when he was like 10 or whatever.
Awesome.
That's so cool, awesome. Dude. It's really cool.
They still train together a decent amount. Like, I don't think they wrestle together, but Sadulayev trains in that club still.
Certainly going to be less now. Taz is like, no, not going to.
Also, update on Sadulayev. UWW said he might have a tumor.
A tumor?
That was the word they used in their release.
Man.
He flew back to Moscow that night to get scans, and it's something with his spine. I hope he doesn't have a tumor.
Okay. Well, I hope not as well.
I hope you don't have a tumor, JD.
Me too. That would be terrible. I'm
pretty
confident that I don't, though.
I'm going to say this. I hope no one has a tumor. How about that? I'm more diplomatic than Ben.
I think Sadulayev was a little hurt going into this match.
Communist sympathizer, JD. The asset is back. We knew he was a Russian.
Let's rewind a little bit ago when you were the communist sympathizer.
When I correctly predicted a tremendous performance for USA Wrestling. Okay. What next?
We're actually out of time, and
oh my gosh, it's 9:30.
Keep going if you want to keep going, because I'm having fun and there's a lot to talk about.
Tyler, can we go a little bit? We'll see. Tyler's our boss, so he said a few minutes, sure, but you could tell he didn't like it. You could tell he's kind of annoyed.
He's grumpy.
He's so pissed. All right, I'm sorry, dude. Jeez. Man, we can get to
let's get the question. Let's do like a mega questions show. Questions. No, let's do a mega questions show next week.
Okay.
Instead of just picking.
And
one or
we
two,
got plenty more tiers to talk about, also. Just FYI.
Ben's so mad we didn't do. All right, we'll do like 149 through 156, 157 tiers.
But
watch Amita Lore. She's wrestling in the World Finals in.
Oh my God, she's so good.
She's, man. if you're like a 68 or a 76, are you like, hey, someone should just pay her to go up or down, or like?
She doesn't look that big. She's going down.
I think so too.
I think so for sure.
That's what she said at the Final X press conference. That was
really?
That right now I have not made any finals decisions, but currently it was like a very diplomatic like answer, but basically like, yeah, I'm leaning towards 68 right now. Joe Dubuque, head coach of Princeton. The carousel is probably done for the time being. Anyway, that's it. We can go. It's fine.
Damn.
Wait, what else did you have, Ben?
Man, I don't know. I could just go through some of these matches because there was so much fun. Like I said, really sad that we don't get to watch these guys compete more often. I was just kind of like looking through the brackets of all the good matches. But no, we can go for sure. I had a lot of fun talking about this. I wish these guys compete more often and we could talk about it more often. We do have an NCAA season come up, and actually AWA, we're competing. We got the PNL this weekend in Chicago. So we get to get our guys back on the mat. I'm excited for it.
JD?
Ben, what are your expectations for Seabass at the Olympics after taking silver this year?
I would say it's heavily draw dependent. Because Kalili, Mamedov, and Musukaev and Odaguru are all on the top. Could any of those guys beat him? I think there's a potential of that. Even, Tavanyan and listen, Sebastian was a good match, but Tavanyan was up big on him. So 65 is super deep. Actually, that was that stat. I don't know if you guys, you had to see it. It was what was the stat? No one's won 65 more than twice in the last 20 years or something like that.
Yeah, Sahin of Iran in 7 and 8 was like the last guy to win back to back,
which is totally insane when you think about it. No one could be the best guy in the world 2 years in a row because that weight class is so deep. It's freaking wild.
Yeah, it is wild.
It's not just deep too, it's also when you age at 65 kilos, it's much different than when you age at 97 kilos. Like you lose 2% of your speed advantage. Like that can go a much longer ways at 65 kilos versus 97. And how much harder it is to make that weight for a lot of human males.
143 is a small dude.
Yes.
Like, I'm not big, and that would not be fun for me to make, and these guys are bigger than me. So yeah, that's another. I mean, freaking Ibrahimov is 38, and he scored 6 points on Kyle Snyder 2 days ago. So yeah, you can definitely age. The idea of a 38-year-old 65 kilogram is sort of preposterous. I think I agree with Ben's summary about Sebastian. He's good enough to beat a lot of these guys. But there's a lot of guys that can beat him as well. But I'm curious, like you sometimes see, and I don't know if we've ever talked about this, Ben, but like when you get that big result, that big win, that can sometimes be like a catapulting thing for your confidence and training. Talk to me about like why that is, what that is, maybe a little bit.
I mean, I don't know if that I don't know that it applies in this case, but sometimes it just alleviates that doubt that you belong at that level.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, whether it's a high school kid jumping to college or college jumping, and even if they were really good at the previous level, sometimes they can put it in their head like, I don't know if I belong on this level. Like, I know I'm a really good wrestler, but I'm not sure that I belong. And then you go beat someone really, really good, and you're like, okay, I'm good enough to do this.
Yeah.
It awakens that dog in you.
That dog.
Yes.
Which Sebastian always had plenty of, but now he has international dog.
We were talking about it. He's one of the most slept on, like, greatest American wrestlers of the past 20
Sebastian?
years.
Well,
think about the dudes he beat in college.
But he never won a title, though.
I know, but that's why he gets slept on.
Yeah.
He's now world silver
fairly.
medalist.
If you didn't win,
he beat Spencer Lee multiple times.
I know. I mean, I think your characterization is a little like.
Okay, maybe
he's one of the best to never win it in NCAAs.
That's
you could say
sure.
that when you look at his wins.
I should have said the most underrated.
Okay.
One of the most underrated American wrestlers of the past.
Yeah, I mean,
years
one of the things. I mean, to your point, JD, is he has a lot of really, really high level wins, and for a guy, so like if you said who's got the most high level wins who never won a title, like he's gonna be in contention for sure.
Yeah, I think he. And also, he was a 2020 guy. He won that 133 bracket. He beat Seth Gross in the semis and RBY in the finals. He was the 1 seed going into NCAAs the year he was most likely to win of the years he entered it. And, of course, some COVID happened and he didn't get to. So, yes, for sure, he's a beast, and happy for him and all those guys, how well they're doing. Oh, okay. Before Tyler he just like pulled the curtain and he did this. He literally did this, and I don't know why he did that, but it means
Christian
we have to
is
go.
throat slashing for the.
I'm throat slashing. He did the throat slash,
blood
which that's a
everywhere.
personal foul in NCAA football, and Tyler should know that because he loves football. But he did that, so we're gonna go for our own personal safety and wellness. We will be back Monday, plenty to discuss. We'll get into more worlds. We've only scratching the surface. I'm going to talk about Worlds until Ben is crying on the show, begging for tears. And then I'll do one more show and not talk about tears, and then we'll do tears. So you better start crying soon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please keep watching Worlds. We'll be back Monday. Thank you. Goodbye.
Peace.